Hello, Sparrows. Hey, Sparrows. It is Wisdom Wednesday, and I am Valerie Miller of TVM, the Valerie Miller Double Fold. This very moment, you have opportunity to change. So, welcome in on this Wisdom Wednesday. We do have a fabulous guest on with us tonight, and we're going to be talking about the layers of relationships. Yeah, and that's going to be with John Hollis. So it's going to be a great night. Come on in, get comfy. He should be in momentarily, and we can go ahead and get started for the evening. So hopefully you've had a fabulous day and you are ready for a good time. For a very good time. I'm going to see. I've already sent an invitation out. Asking me a moment. Hello, Whittington. How are you this evening, my dear friend? Hello there.
Good evening. Good evening, Valerie. How are you?
Hello, John. I'm well. How about yourself?
I'm good. How is our connection?
Everything's fab, as I thought
Great.
it would be. Yep. Yes, indeed. How are you, sir? Welcome into the room. Welcome to TVM. It's Wisdom Wednesday, and you are frozen. Yeah.
I was.
Yeah, just for a split second. Thank you, Whittington. I appreciate you. Shonda, welcome to the room. Good to see you both in. Come on in. We're just going to take a couple of moments that the sparrows come in, and then the guest has now popped out of the room. Tonight is not going to be that night. Oh, no, 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 it's not. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. So when John can get back in, he will be in. Okay. Ain't nobody got time tonight, Whittington. I'm telling you that right now. Whit, do you hear what I'm saying? OMNG. OMNG. But it is a great day. It's been a fabulous week. I'm excited about tonight. We're going to unlayer some of these relationships and get some clear understanding on things. And I'm ready. I am ready to rock. Time is flying by so fast, y'all. What is going on with the time? I feel like it's speeding up every single day. It's getting faster and faster. Jeez Louise. I don't know what's going on with getting John in and keeping him in. Tonight's not the night, Whittington. Uh-uh.
Let's tr- let's try that again.
Try what? Yeah, like you can't be the sparrow just flying in and out of the room tonight. No, it's too much to be talked about, too much to unlayer within these relationships. We got to keep the momentum and keep it
Yes.
going because we're going to look up and it's going to be time to roll back out again. An hour isn't that long. So
Agreed.
why don't you do me and the sparrows the honor of introducing yourself and give just a snippet of who is John, and then we're going to just go ahead and jump into the topic about the layers of relationship.
Okay. Uh, my name is John Hollis. I am a pastor, licensed and ordained. I have been for over 20 years. Also, was married for 17 years until I made some very bad choices, causing the end of that marriage. And since,
Mm.
for some reason, get out. The notifications are are what's causing the pause. Everyone who wants to, I guess, come in is notifying me. But I am a pastor and I am a man, a man who believes that relationships today have been altered from what they were set to be originally.
Uh-huh.
And I would start there because biblically relationships are based with God.
Yes.
God having created woman for man, so that man wouldn't be alone. And the original process of man and woman coming together was normally one instituted by the father of the home, helping his daughter to find the proper wife, but I mean the proper husband. But there was no such case for the men. The men didn't teach the sons to go find a certain type of wife. They just told them to get out and become men and get, take a wife and become somebody constructive. Whereas the women had to wait for that suitor to come. But today is much different. Women are out there on their
Mm-hmm.
own,
Yeah.
no fatherly guidance, no man to say this is what you should look for in a man, no one to
No,
guide
no,
them.
no,
A
no,
lot of the women are
not
growing up
everybody,
without
not
that.
every woman, not every woman,
Not
not
everybody.
every woman.
Lots of them. Not everyone. And please don't let me generalize and put everyone in the same
I won't.
basket because
Trust
everyone
me.
is not.
Uh-huh. I won't.
But in any case, there are many different layers of relationships. But
Yes.
if we want to know what the foundation is that man was created, and woman was created for him, and they were supposed to, co-mingle and create a family and
Yes.
teach that process.
Yes.
Now that we are in a more,
Relaxed
if you,
environment.
yes, and people are choosing to do things more according to tradition or what's being accepted at the time
Right.
rather than what was spiritually founded.
Right. And I'm just going to plug in
Some of those same
casual.
principles that marriage were founded on
It's
is what we need
casual
to work with.
spaces. And when you fall into casual,
Yes.
then everything is a free for all. And there's it's nothing. And it's a lot of both men and women, across the board are having this experience. And then role reversals as well. You have more of the women being what's the lead, wearing the pants instead of dresses. And the guys are falling prey to being taken care of. I'm just
Yes.
saying.
And that becomes an emotional issue for women, though, in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
cases, because men don't know how to be taken care of without abusing that privilege because their, I guess what you would say, makeup were to be different.
Right.
You weren't to be cared for like that. You
Right.
were supposed to get out there and conquer and be dominant. So when you submit yourself to letting a woman or women dictate your moves in life, you're not exactly being the man you're supposed to be.
Well,
That's my
it's not
opinion.
a great look. It appears weak. The respect is lost. I can only speak for myself in that space, having experienced it. I didn't ask for it. Just somehow I was the one leading in the pack. So it wasn't something that I would have chosen for myself. Did not like it, and of course got out of it because no, that's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. But looking at, it's different types of relationships. We have, singles out here that are dating, and it just depends on what you're looking for within any relationship that you attach yourself to or choose to become a part of. And like I said, it's a lot of casualness taking place because it is non-committal. And then there are the ones who want the relationships. And then there are some that have arranged marriages, that, you do for
Yes,
me, I do for you. And it's a lot happening in the streets today. When you say the
I,
one word relationship, that goes in a variation of ways.
I agree. And many people are afraid of relationships because they're not exactly sure of what they're looking for in the first place.
Yeah,
And the reason I say it that way
yeah.
is because most people don't self love first
Hmm.
and recognize what they truly desire and deserve
Right,
in their
right.
relationship. And when we go out looking for someone, and I'm being general here again, when we go out looking for someone, our idea of what we want is not clear because we're not clear on who we are and what we deserve.
Yeah,
So
for those
I try
those
to help,
that are not sure.
right.
Yeah,
And even for those that are, who are sure about themselves and sure about what they want,
right.
when you meet that particular person, they may display some of the things that you think you want, but because their core is not the same as your core, they're not going to be able to consistently give you that.
Exactly. But then that's also
So,
settling too. You see it. Some choose to ignore those signs, but they're there. You get tired. You invest into somebody, then all of a sudden the other one shows up, the actual individual shows up. And it's disappointing at times. So, however, you have to look at it for what it is. And you are right. A lot of individuals do not have any idea as to what they want, but then there are quite a few that does and are willing to wait and partaking, shall I say, of self-care and self-love and spending more time with themselves versus attaching to someone that's not even worthy of them. Now, I can vouch for that, being myself, and it's quite a few others that I know that choose themselves because why waste time investing into someone who's not quite worthy of you? You're just going to end up in heartbreak,
Well,
and that's what we're tired of.
yes, the heartbreak.
Yeah,
And that heartbreak it swings both
it
ways,
does.
both for men and
It
women.
does.
And before I go any further, let me say this, Valerie.
Hmm.
Although I'm a man of God and I believe that the ultimate goal for relationships is marriage,
Hmm.
and that's what you're supposed to be looking for when you start looking for that mate.
Right.
I'm looking for that ultimate goal of
Hmm.
marriage. Some aren't looking for that. Some are just looking to be sustained, like you said.
Yeah,
If they can get that partner without the commitment
right.
or without the spiritual involvement, then great. We need to be sure of what foundation we're building that relationship on. If you're building it on a worldly tradition or a worldly sense of living,
Hmm.
then you're going to have to expect certain behavior to come with those type of people that
Bingo.
you pursue
Yes.
that are not on that spiritual level that you might have should have been. If you gotta again take a look at what the world has to offer
Right.
and what its rules are for getting it versus what God has already stated and said a relationship should be and what you should seek. We have descriptions of both good and bad women in the Bible,
Of
and we
course.
have different instructions about how to seek out those relationships. But we don't do that in the Bible if we're not in scripture and we're not spiritual individuals. We're just living without that spiritual guide to say this is the way you should go. So if you're just living
Right.
according to tradition as the world does things, then there's a different set of rules for dating. For me, and I'm going to go right here, right now. Let's say I didn't know the Lord and that I still wanted to be with someone.
Right.
I'm still going to look for a certain type of woman today.
What type would
I'm
that
going to
be?
look,
What would it be?
I'll be quite honest, more like my mother. Now, I've heard that said, and then I've heard women say, well, I'm not your mama. No, it's not it's the nurturing part of the mother-son relationship
Right.
that the man is now looking for in that relationship with his female or significant other. You're still looking for that nurturing, that caring, that support, that security that mothers put out.
Right.
I'm never going to leave you attitude. I'm here for you. Moms make their sons feel like they're the best guys in the world. Oh, you're such a good boy. And you keep getting this from your mom as you're growing up. So you
Right.
think you're all that. So when that woman meets you,
Have mercy. You have frozen, I mean, still in time this time, John. But yes, he is bringing up valid points. Okay, keep going. You froze for a moment.
okay, but you have to be careful about what you choose today. I've met women over the last 10 years that I've been single the last 10 years. And then these last 10 years I've met different women both in church and out of church. Some attractive, some well they're all attractive in some way or another, but some are more appealing to me than others. I didn't go with just what I saw with my eyes.
John, you're going to have to turn off your notifications and then come back into the room because we'll never finish our conversation like this. Oh my goodness. Because that's some good stuff. And I could make out some of what you were saying. However, at the same time, you have to look at it from the full scope. Even though a mother may give a man nurturing and all of that, there are a lot of women that also do that in relationships that are not committed and have been doing so for an extremely long time within these relationships for, I would say, late high numbers, over 7 years, double digit of years, and they're not married. So women have to be careful of not putting herself into that space to always be nurturing and feeding into the souls and spirits of what this man may need or whatnot, but at the same time, he's not giving you what you need at the end of the day. So you got to look at it for what it is every time, every single time. And that's a real concern that I see speaking with couples and speaking with individuals a lot. And they are no longer, they're not married and even talking about getting married. So why would a woman continue to give a guy all of this information and give him all of this stroking of egos and good boy, good man, good sweetie pie, I love you, all this stuff, you're the absolute best. You're giving these men things that they do not deserve at this point. So I'm sure you probably heard everything I said. So
Yes.
I'm waiting for a response in that, because women need to know their place in relationships and not become wifey per se when you're just dating. Mm-mm.
Agreed. Agreed. The
Okay.
courting process is one that needs to really be dealt with some gentle gloves, if you would,
Yeah.
because what you project from the very beginning in your dating is what causes the person to either draw to you or
Right.
pull away from you.
Right.
So if you're
Oh,
coming in
whoa,
and you have this
whoa,
mask on,
whoa.
which
Okay, no, let's elaborate on that. Let's elaborate on that. You said either draw
the
to
mask
or
part,
pull. Mm-hmm.
okay, I have noticed that in my past, I would approach women, and although I want to be completely honest with them from the beginning,
Uh-huh.
I haven't always been that way. I would project my best self or project what I believed I would be eventually,
The
even though I wasn't there
representative.
yet.
The representative. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I'm adamant today about when I meet someone being me. I'm going to be me. They already saw me for my physical, and if they were attracted to that, then that's half the battle. The other half
Yes.
is being real now and letting them get a chance to know whether they like the rest of you. They know they like what they saw, but do they like what they cannot see? And that takes time, and that takes you being real and them being real so that the truth is out there and everybody can deal with it for what it is. But when men,
Yes.
and I say this again, being general, men come into things feeling intimidated by the woman in a lot of cases, feeling like if they don't come off, with this sweet idea for the woman, she's not going to accept them. So they make up this, or they exaggerate on what they are, hoping that before she finds out, they can fulfill it or become it.
I married
Or maybe
somebody
some
like
of them,
that. I married an individual like that.
and then you stick in it and you wait for them to become it. You hope,
No, we
you,
don't. I
you
didn't.
think that it's there.
No,
Well, no,
that was
some
a
don't. Like I
lie.
said, these are general
Okay.
statements. Some
Mm-mm.
people will sit there for years waiting to see that what they thought they saw in the person come out, but it never comes out because it wasn't really there from the beginning.
You know what? It's
And we have,
such deceit. So you
yes,
you start the relationship in a lie. It's
yes,
fictitious. You are lying about who you are, which means there is some confidence problems. Is something
yes.
with who you believe yourself to be, rather than
Again, it
changing
comes
that
back to knowing who you
identity.
are.
Exactly. So unless you can correct your identity to actually display who you say you are in those moments of introduction,
Yes,
why lie about it? Because what you've done is taking the woman's right to choose you or not.
right.
So
I'm guilty of that. Someone did come to me and tell me that if I had given them the opportunity, if I had told them the truth from the beginning, that they would have been more accepting of it and would have
yes,
worked with me with that
yes,
situation.
Yes.
But because I didn't give them that chance, it caused waves later.
Yes, because
So
she doesn't
again,
trust you anymore. I mean, trust is gone.
right. Yes. So from the very beginning, we have to go in recognizing that we are not perfect, that we do
Hmm.
have things we want to work on.
Hmm.
And if we're going to involve that other person, give them the opportunity to help you work those things out because in a relationship, it's going to take two, and you're going to have to work on some stuff with them too. None of
Right.
us are perfect.
Right. We all have luggage. We
Right.
have
So you
luggage.
go into it
Hmm.
and explain, look, for example, I have a 10-year-old daughter. So any woman who wanted to be in my life today would have needed to know that I have a 10-year-old daughter
In the
that I'm very
beginning.
close to
In the
from the
beginning.
beginning. You don't wait 6 months into it
No.
and then go, oh, by the way, now that you got some feelings for me,
Right.
I got my daughter over here. I want to bring her in on it. You got a what?
That's a con.
How old?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that happens all the time
Every day.
because we hold back stuff that we think other people won't accept.
Right.
Well, if they're not going to,
If there is no acceptance, then maybe you shouldn't be dating. If you look
yes,
at it for that, because there's no reason to keep your children secret. It's no reason to not share any issues that you may have that's taking place in your life at the time. And if it's too profound in that space, don't date. Work it out, fix whatever, resolve whatever needs to be resolved, and then present yourself accordingly when you are ready to display yourself as somebody who's worthy of being with, rather than, wait until that time comes. Like you said, now the emotions are involved.
hmm,
You have emotions involved now. Because me personally, I want to know on the front end. You need to air all your laundry right
yes,
up front.
yes.
Because the
It's
minute
very
you don't,
important.
I'm out when I do discover it. One strike policy. Read
Yes,
about it in How I Became Fabulous and the lady all the time. I have a one strike
I
policy.
agree.
That's it. Like,
I agree.
I give you every opportunity to be yourself, be authentic, tell me everything, air your laundry, drop all your luggage off. And if that's something I can help you unpack your luggage with, I'll say so. If it's not something that I'm willing to take on at the time, I'm going to tell you so. But give me the option to make that choice, because
Yes,
it's not like I don't have things that I need to talk about and share with you at the same time.
yes,
And I'm going to divulge it. So you can go ahead and make your decision. Don't waste my time, and I won't waste yours. But now you know everything up front to make the decision. Let's save both of us that,
exactly.
because time is valuable.
But we're not, the individuals out there today aren't on that mature level. They're
You're right.
not doing it.
You're right.
They're still doing the high school thing to where you're pretending that you're this when you're not. And the longer you do that, the more confusing your relationships are going to be. You're going to continue in and out of relationships because no one's accepting you for you.
Right.
You're not
It's
putting
a
you out
game.
there to be accepted.
It's a game.
So I'm going to switch gears if you would, because
Yes.
I heard a song years ago, and it was the Atomic Dog by George Clinton and the group. And when
Mm-hmm.
I heard it at the time, I was a teenager. I was one of those young boys, and for mothers out there and young women out there, once a boy reaches a certain age and certain things, masculinity, he becomes more uncontrollable sexually than you would want to believe. The hormones rage. And for some men, once they turn 21, 22, they still running around like they're 15 years old in high school and conducting themselves the same way. You have 30, 40, 50-year-old
50.
men.
Yes.
They're single and they have nothing to offer, and you wonder why. Well, he's still
Mama.
15.
He's
He's
15, but
still
you got to
15.
factor that mama nurturing thing too. You have to grow up and get off of mama. Like,
My
grow
mom
up.
was a very good mom. She was right there in my life. She was hands on. She was the one who had that birds and the bees talk with me,
Right.
all of that.
Right.
My mom was no different from any other mother when it comes to running to her son's aid,
Right.
except when she came, she didn't come with the cotton candy saying it's okay. My mother came with the belt and said, "Boy, you were wrong in that." You
That's a
know,
good thing.
even she just never catered to my foolishness. And because my father at the time was not present, my mother felt she had to be a little bit harder. And she didn't want me to come out and be, if you would, gay. I'll be forward. She didn't want me to be gay. That was her preference. She didn't want her son to be gay. So she
Right.
pushed hard at me, very hard. And then she did something at age 14 that shocked the heck out of me when she brought pornography into my room to show me what I was looking for and a box of condoms to go with it. She was very hands on. She goes, "You only need one girl in your life. You're only going to have one girl running in and out of my house." I'm like, okay. All of this just hit me like a ton of bricks. But the conversations my mother had with me about relationships stuck with me in life. She told me never hit a woman.
Mhm.
Women are weaker than I am. Don't you ever hit a woman. I'll kill you myself. Things like that, conversations like that gave me an attitude toward women that
Uh-huh.
stuck with me.
Okay.
I don't believe in hitting women. I don't believe in a man that does. That's a coward of a man for me, but that's again
Exactly.
something else. That's something
Exactly.
else. A woman who will stay with a man who's abusive. That's not love. I just got to say that before we go anywhere else.
Right.
Women who are staying with men, I'm a pastor. I do not condone divorce. Let me say that. I don't condone divorce. But
However,
if
you
you're
are
in a
divorced.
relationship,
You are divorced,
yes,
though.
I am.
Okay.
And again, my mistake, my bad. It wasn't her fault. I was the one who sinned in that. I was the one who messed that up. And I'm putting it out there that if it were up to me, divorce would not have been an issue. I'd have corrected everything and got it right. Am I
Okay.
happy today still? Yes, I have moved on spiritually. I've
Right.
repented. God has been good to me. And I have
Right.
love in my life today. For anyone who follows me, you know that I recently posted that engaged.
Yes. Congrats.
And it's someone I've known a while. It wasn't something brand new. We've known each other a very long time.
Uh-huh.
And it just happened to be where we can started to work together again. And we recognized the flaws that each other had back then and
Right.
decided, you know what, I can live with you. You're the type of guy I can actually deal with, is what she said. And I'm like, well, you've honestly been the type of woman I can deal with. So we started to look at the things that would determine whether or not we would evenly yoked. And that's a term that you'll hear me
Yes.
use again,
I
being
agree with that.
evenly yoked.
Yes.
Because I'm a man who serves God 24/7, and I say 24/7 because I don't get a lot of sleep. But I serve God. My purpose is to serve others for God. So the
Mhm.
woman in my life has to be, even if she's not on my same spiritual level or educational level, she needs to be in that same place, that same plane,
Right.
so that she can understand who I am as a man.
Exactly.
Vice versa, whatever industry she's in, I have to be somewhat inclined to understand the work. When you're not understanding of each other's lifestyles and what each other's doing, there's going to be some trust issues.
It's turmoil, yes, and it's unnecessary. So that's very important. There's no time because jealousy shows up, or suspicions will pop
Yes.
into that, falsely accusing. It's a number of things that come from that. And what I've learned when someone project those behaviors in a relationship is
Hmm.
because it's coming from guilt from their side because they've already done that. And it doesn't mean that it
Yes.
rings true to be something that the woman or either the man are doing at the time, but because of your experiences and your behaviors in past relationships, it's starting to unveil itself.
Again, which is why we have to go back to what we said in the beginning.
Right,
Know who you are, know
right.
what you want,
Yeah,
and then it's easier to see what you want and need in someone else.
that's true.
Once you have your potholes full, then you can, allow someone to drive over it without too much damage to
Right,
them.
right.
Okay, but again, let's be honest from the beginning. When you first go out and you meet that person, wherever you meet them, if I'm going to approach you today, I need to be honest. And if you're going to accept me today, then you need to be honest back.
Right.
That honesty gives us something to stand on and build on, regardless of our backgrounds.
I agree.
We're building.
Yes.
So if we're building towards something, one of the things you have to do is let go of whatever it was that went wrong in your last relationship and don't hold it against the next person coming in. We do
Well,
that. We take our
yes.
junk from the old relationships, we bring it into the new one. The last girl cheated on me, so now I'm going to watch you for cheating. Every move you make. Really?
That just goes to show the person isn't ready. Why would you, again, jump into a relationship when you haven't taken care of the bruises and the heartbreak that you've already experienced? Because what you
Yes.
experienced in your previous relationship has absolutely nothing to do with somebody you just met. And that's
And
a
you can
great
cause
way to lose
yourself,
them too.
yes, you can ruin a very good thing with someone new because you're still holding guilt and pain from someone old.
Right.
We have to learn to forgive. We have to learn to move on. Someone once said to me that forgiveness is an action. It's not just a statement.
That's true.
When you say you forgive, Christ, when he forgives us, places us right back in the same position to do the same thing to him again.
It's a test.
Yep. We in this world are saying, okay, I forgive you, but you'll never get a chance to do that again
Right.
because you're never going to be in that same position again.
Right.
That's not true forgiveness. Okay, being humble enough to recognize I'm not perfect, that I've made several mistakes in my hundreds of mistakes in my life. How can I judge and penalize someone else for making mistakes? How
Can't.
can you hold someone else's mistakes against them?
You can't.
True
Forgive
forgiveness and
it and
true
just move
freedom is
forward.
walking in that.
Right. Right. It's
And
the
until you are
display.
capable of doing that with your ex or someone who's harmed you in your past, it doesn't have to be an ex. It could just be a relationship or work relationship.
Right.
Until you learn to forgive people, you can't truly be forgivable, if you understand what I mean.
Well, yes, I understand that clearly. And looking at it for what it is. I mean, in order for you to move forward with, in any situation or relationship that has you've had hurt or disappointment, whatever, you have to be in that space to forgive. But at the end of the day, why would you keep yourself held hostage or in prison within something that you just need to let it go and move on? I'm not going to do something or stay someplace that's going to bring harm to myself or continual repeated memories of that or feel like I'm
Great.
hurting that person. It's about freeing myself. And I free myself by
Yes.
forgiving you and saying, hey, I get it. I understand. I forgive you and myself for allowing it, accepting it. And I'm
Yes.
on to the next
Yes.
thing. Let's turn the page. I wish you the best.
That part.
I wish you the
It's
best.
really important to be decisive today.
Right.
When you're going into these relationships or looking, no one wants to really be alone. I mean, some people have that personality to where they can live the rest of their lives alone just as long as they have a visitor every now and then.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say, but I tried it. I tried that I could just serve God. I don't need love in my life like that. I
Lies.
got my family, got my
Mm-mm.
church family, just stay
Mm-mm.
busy for God.
Mm-mm.
But Valerie, I got to be honest with you. I was sitting back watching a movie at home one night, and something happened in the movie, and I bust out, "Hey, did you see that?" And nobody was there for me to talk to. And I was like,
That's almost nutty.
"Wow."
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's borderline nuts. But get it. Everybody
The-
deserves to have a companion.
yes,
Everybody. Just be
we were
prepared
created that
for it.
way.
Yeah.
So now the trick is finding out who you are, what
Right.
you stand for in this life, where you're trying to go in this life,
Right.
and then finding someone who's on that same path, that same trip.
Right.
It's like we're going to take a, how do you call it when you ride all in a car? Like a carpool. We're going to carpool to Chicago together. We're all going to Chicago. We'll take one car. Let's carpool. Well, that's what a relationship is about. We're both supposed to be heading to a certain place, and we're
Right.
deciding to do it together.
Right.
You can't do this if you're not going to be honest from the beginning with the person that you're choosing to ride with. I got a 357 on my hip just in case we get in trouble, okay? Make sure that's okay with the person you're riding with.
Yes, clearly.
Everything in life is about choice. The choices we make
Right.
dictate how we're going to feel later, what the consequences are later. And it's high time for us to stop looking at the outer side of the people we're looking at. Stop
Yes.
looking for the 5'2", 5'4" woman, and just look for the woman that satisfies your inner person, that can really go the long haul with you.
Yeah, and that's really what it's about. And it's not about the vanity of an individual, how good they look, what they drive, how they dress. Oh, he smells so good. She is so gorgeous, or whatever the case is. I'll never forget, and I carry it around all the time. I'll never forget, I had to be maybe 25 years old when my dad told me this. He said, when you meet somebody, because he was always asking, have you met somebody? Like, Daddy, no. Because I get rid of them just as fast as they come. And I've never been one to tolerate a lot. So I'm quick to get rid of somebody if I feel like you're not going to be the person for me. I do it in love and kindness. However, I just don't believe in wasting my time or yours. And that's not anything new. However, with my dad, he said, do me this favor. He said, the next person you meet, he said, close your eyes and get to know them for who they are without
Yes.
looking at them, because most people tend to think, oh, you just have a type. I really don't have a type. I don't. But other people may say, yeah, you got a type. I don't. It's all about getting to know the person for who they are and just give me, the opportunity to make the best choice for myself as I'm coming in the door, allowing you to do. So if we're honest and one of us are not, then that's going to be a problem. And I just don't want it to be down the road before this is revealed. So if we can agree to be what we're looking for, then we're already on the upside of things. But when I come and I close my eyes and I'm listening to everything you say and dating according to that, I mean, old school courting. I love sitting on the porch talking, going for walks, having ice cream on
Right.
Sunday, just go over to the Dairy
Right.
Queen or something. The simple things in life, things that's necessary to get to know somebody. Do not text me if you ask for my phone number. Don't text me. I'm a conversationalist. I like to talk. So it's things like that and making sure that you are getting what your needs are things that really satisfies you when you meet someone. So if I say to you, John, I'm giving you my phone number. However, I'm not one that texts a lot. And then all you do is text. Guess what? I'm not going to respond to you. And then you're going to be like, well, she don't even bother to reply. It's not that, but I've already told you I'm not one to do that. Or I'm going to eventually just pick up the phone and call you and say, hey, you know what, John? I like to have conversations. I'm going to put it out there early on and let you know this is what I like. This is a preference. Is it a reason? Because I'm going to follow it up with a question. Is there a reason that you text me all the time? And allow you to respond to that. But then it goes back to maturity. You've said that as well. But it's a lot of immature adults on the streets today.
The key word, immature adults.
Immature
And
adults.
that takes me back to my dog situation. We need to stop thinking that every man is the same, or that
True.
just because he looks good, he's good. Just because he has a nice car and a good job, he's good.
Nah.
Just because his friends like him, he's good.
Mm-mm.
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 I love this. There are different type of personalities in men, just like there's different type of
For
personalities in
women.
women.
Yes, that's true.
Okay,
Yeah.
and there are some men out there who are not looking to be married. They can. That would be the farthest thing from their minds. Okay, the idea of committing to you as boyfriend and girlfriend has gone too far because now you're limiting me to one woman.
Right.
And Some men don't want to be limited. Some men want to act like the tiger who has one woman over here and one over there. He just travels. Others are like lions. They want one woman. Well, let's rephrase that, because a lion will have a whole pride, but he stays at home with that one family.
It's
There's
a
different types of
respect and it's
animals.
understood.
Yes,
Yes.
you got to know what that man's looking for, because if you go into it thinking that, oh, I can live with him forever, you better hope that he's willing to be taken forever.
Forever.
But maybe he's just into you for the moment.
But ask the
Maybe you're
questions. There's a
not many
fear.
of them are
Some
going to tell the truth. You have to really pay attention to how the man is treating you. If he's
behaviors.
opening your doors,
Yeah.
if he's showing you the utmost respect,
Yeah.
maybe you got something going there.
Right.
But if every time you guys go somewhere, you got to actually do for yourself, whether it be pay for the meal or open the door, drive yourself, he couldn't pick you up. First of all, stop dating men that don't have anything to offer.
Right.
If this man doesn't have his own car, he's still living with his cousin or his mama, and he's 30 years old, what is he going to do for you now? It's taken him all this time to even get to the idea that I shouldn't be living with my grandma no more. Now you want to go invite this girl out because she's got a BMW. You're going to sweet talk her into believing it's all okay for her to come pick you up.
Well,
Come
I
on.
mean, that's looking at it from a material side. You still got
That's
to
what I'm
ask,
saying. There's so
yes, you
many
got to
things
look
to
at,
look at.
yes, you got to take that and break it down because it could be a very good guy that so happened to have a situation, something went down that put him in that place. So that's
And
why I
even
say
then,
you
be
have to
honest.
be honest. But if you don't ask, if you don't watch the behaviors, then that's how you're going to know. Because I'm never going to sit and ask you 25 questions. I'm going to listen to every conversation. I'm watching to see how you are in public, how you treat the perfect stranger, what type of relationship you have with your
Yes.
family. So it's
How kind are
necessary,
you?
right? How are you conducting yourself? What do you
Agreed.
do for a living? Do you have dreams and what are you working toward? Those are
Aspirations,
things
yes.
that stands out. Yeah,
So
those
again, it's not
things.
whether or not he has a whole lot. It's what, why are you in that situation, first of all?
Right.
Okay? At, at my age, I should be sustained and capable of sustaining someone else if necessary, because I should have worked toward this. I should have been saving and building so that when that right woman comes along, I
You
have
prepared.
something.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's the way it was from the beginning. A man would leave his father's home, take a piece of his father's land as his inheritance, build his house. Once he built his house, he'd go out there in the community. He's looking for the wife now to bring home.
Yeah.
But
That's
where were you going
that's
to bring her
old
if you
school
didn't have it?
traits. Right. But
Yes.
that was the
So again,
mindset then. That was the
th-
mindset. And it's a lot of
it should
men who
still be.
does they have everything. They do have a lot. They can present. However, with society today, there are some that makes it easy for them to not take on that responsibility. But if you are easy,
Agreed.
if you accept what they're dishing out because of what they have, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Pretty much. You're accepting
Yes.
what should not be. I can care less. Been there, done it all. And no, you have to present yourself properly at this point.
If a man is working hard or trying to work hard and
Right.
he's trying to make something, and a woman comes along and he may not have the best car or the biggest place, he's just getting started again. Maybe he had an accident or something in life that caused a setback,
Right.
but he's trying.
Right.
The woman who comes along also needs to understand that's where he is right now. And if that guy is the type of guy you want, then you should be willing to go ahead and build with him now.
Yeah. That's the difference.
Okay? Regardless of what
Right.
you have, okay?
Right.
Maybe you have it all.
Right.
And he's just getting started. Are you going to hold that against him because he doesn't have what you have? But
No.
he will treat you like a queen.
Right.
He will care for your heart.
Right.
He will make you laugh. You know?
That's important.
But your
laughing.
friends are going to say, well, girl,
Yes.
he's a garbage man.
So what? He has a job.
That's the sweetest garbage man I ever did see.
And you don't know
That's,
what his dreams are. Why are you judging? Do not judge somebody because of what you visually see. My thing is, you have employment, you're working toward things that are greater, and you need to connect with somebody who wants to build just like you're building rather than being a taker. If you're on the material side of the fence and that's all you need to make it, you're never going to have anything worthy, ever.
you know,
You're not
and
going
that goes
to.
both ways
It
again.
does.
There are women out there looking at the guy's car and the job and wondering whether or not he can sustain.
Hmm.
Okay, well, I think in logic, that's a good thing. Okay, you don't want to end up with someone who can't take care of
Right,
you.
right.
Okay, especially if you don't have the means to do it yourself.
It's a
But
different
most
day,
women,
though. Like you saying,
yeah, a
being
lot of women
reliant.
today can take care of themselves.
Exactly. It's a lot of us that are, and not saying, I love who I am. However, I want you to take the reins. Do what a man does. I'm going to respect you in that space. And I'm not saying that is all about his responsibility, her responsibility. However, if you're working together, then you're working on something worthy of having. Two is always greater than one, and not putting the expectations on one person because of your mindset of whatever the thoughts may be at the time.
Okay, I did not make this statement. Okay, my mother quoted this to me or stated this to me. A woman of power or a woman of dignity does not mind submitting to a man who loves her deeply.
Exactly. Keyword:
A woman of
dignity.
power does not
Yes.
mind humbling herself
Right.
next to that guy
Right.
who's loving her completely.
Right.
She may go to work where she's the boss
Right.
and be all that, but when she gets home, she wants to huddle, just cuddle up under him
Right.
because he's treating her that way. She
Yes.
doesn't have to be the boss at home because he
Yes.
allows her to. It's a combination of things, but we have to be real about what we want again.
Yes.
I
And
want a
be
woman
firm
who
with it.
will let me be the man, who will let me cater to her. Please let me open your door. I don't care if it's raining out here. Let me open it. I got it.
You're going to.
That
That's
part.
not even a conversation. I'm going to
So
stand there.
that
What? But show me that you're
exactly.
not doing that. Then, oh,
And if a woman puts herself out there that way, men will start to do it.
yeah.
I remember when I did date my, my ex-wife. The first week we were dating, she came and threw me the keys to her car because I didn't have one. She said, well, I'm not going to drive a man around all over town. You can drive. You have a license. You should be driving me. And then she stood there at the passenger door waiting for me to open it.
Of course.
Little did she know at the time I was that man. So, okay, I did it. But how many women are forcing the men to step up to the plate today by being what they're supposed to be,
Right.
or vice versa?
Right.
How many men are going to stop these women from abusing the privilege of those who are willing to give all?
Right.
See, I'm the type that I don't really want my wife to work if she doesn't want to. If she doesn't want to work, girl, don't work. I got this. That's my attitude.
Yeah, I'm raising the
What, you want to
eyebrow on
go
that.
shopping today?
Mm-hmm.
Go shopping. I want to be able to do that. But how many men are honestly, really, truthfully doing that or want to do that
Well, how many
to where a
women
woman can
want
feel
that to
comfortable?
happen? You got to look at that too. Who wants to sit around and
Yes.
be, mm-mm-mm. Been
Well,
there,
see,
done
that's the
that
other thing.
too. It's you got to
When
look
you
at
know
his
who you are,
conversations. Yes, that's really vital. And that wasn't the case when I got married. It was a lie. Well, you can come over, and I moved from the United States to Italy. So
mm,
looking at that and knew I'm the type, I have to work. I love working. I love engaging with people. Everything about working, I love that because it's a part of who I am.
yes,
So to be
and
there and then
everyone
could
should do
not
that.
work. So you lied. I have disrupted my life to come here. Granted, we were getting married at the time and did at this time we were married. But at the same time, I couldn't work there. 18 months of no work, sitting around the house. What?
No
in a
purpose,
form.
no fulfillment.
Yeah, I mean, I did things, around, the base of whatever. That did give me volunteer things, doing interior design because I'm that person.
Okay.
I create spaces where there isn't any. But at the same
Yes.
time, do not lie to me to disrupt my life. And I had a great career going on here in the United States, and this whole marriage could have waited. So you look at that.
Yes.
So that disrupt my life. It ruined my chi. And you wonder why I'm changing toward you. You lied to get me there.
Again, it comes back down to telling someone the truth from the
Right. Be
beginning.
honest
Yes,
about it.
I have said to my significant other today that this is who I am and this is what I want. And in return, she has said to me, "Well, I'm not the type to just sit back at home. I'd have to do something." And I said, "Whatever you choose to do would be fine with me, just as long as I got you in my life. You have to be
Great
comfortable
answer.
with what the other person wants.
But it
And
takes
if you want them in your,
communication. You have to talk about these things. You don't,
yes,
get into a relationship or get married without having those very important
conversation. And you
conversations.
can't be dogmatic about
Right.
things either. You can't feel like, well, this is how my mom taught me, and this is how I need you to be. Now you're going to try to force that person to change it because they really want to be with you. They even try to sometimes.
But you can
But
lose
when
them.
it's not in you, yes,
You
when
can
it's
lose them.
not in you to be, you can
Right.
lose it.
Hmm.
So again,
Losing
there are
me
many
to
layers. And
sustain you? No.
but you remember that old song? I think it was Betty Wright who made the song that says, "I'd rather live in his world with him, I'd rather live in his world than to be in my world without him."
Mm-mm, that was an
Wow.
old school song. That's so not relevant anymore. Maybe for her then, but today, now, absolutely not.
But see,
No.
that's just it. When you talk about living in someone else's world,
Right.
it should be a world that you're familiar with.
Right.
Again, it's about being
Communication.
evenly yoked.
Yeah.
If I'm in the medical field and this guy's a mortician, maybe we aren't going to see life the same way.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
it comes up in
I grow
conversation, opposites
I
attract.
grow flowers for a living. This guy cuts down forest trees. You got to choose
Right.
what's best for you in your environment.
What you can
And
actually
we can
stand for and what
go
makes
take the
you
Briggs and
awaken.
Myers test and then go find someone who matches your intuitive behavior.
It's interesting. It really is. And,
We can go to extremes all day. We
right.
really can. There's extremes on both sides. We can talk about how women are the weaker vessel. We can talk about how men can be arrogant and controlling, domineering. Again, what it really comes down to is, what do you want for you?
Right.
What do I want for me?
Right.
Can we bring that together? Can we be successful with it together?
It's a choice. It's a
And
choice to
honesty is the
do.
most important key of
Yes.
everything.
In the
Men need to
beginning,
stop lying. Stop
women
going out there
too. It's
telling
not
these
only
women
men, it's the women too.
yes, and
It's
women need to stop telling men that they want them and when they really don't. They just want what you got. If you're not into the man for who he is, don't play with him because he's got some things that you can use. And
granted.
guys, stop chasing after the woman just because she's got nice calves. You're going to take those calves home. She's going to walk into your house and then she's going to burn it down later. Take a look at what's inside, is all I'm saying. There's a nature
It's the heart.
inside of each of us.
Right. Look at the
And some
heart.
of us rub off on each other better than others.
And then it can be a disaster too if you're not careful. It blows up in your face. And just be honest about what it is that you're seeking in any relationship with whomever you cross paths with. And the earlier you have the conversations, the greater. And please do it before emotions set in,
Get
because that
involved.
way you have nothing to lose if they reject you. Because my girl, Felicity Love has always said, rejection is protection. So if they ever want to
Yes.
leave early in the game, smooches, arrivederci, ciao ciao. It was great to meet you. I wish you the best though, and move on. It's that
Just be careful
easy.
of what you're taking home. If you take garbage home, if you take garbage home, your home is going to stink. Okay?
Yeah.
There. I'll go back to the dog analogy. You have your yard. Excuse me.
Are
You
you,
have your
is the
yard dog?
dog coming out of you? I mean, like, what was that? Oh my goodness. And Sparrows, what was
Wow.
that? He's
That
going
was
to
some
give us a
honesty
visual.
that people don't want me to give. I mean, the truth is, you got your yard dog, you got your house dog, and you got your stray dog, okay? Be careful what type of dog you take home. Not saying that all men are straight up dogs, but we have dog mentalities. Some of us don't know how to control our sexual nature. Some of us are just chasing the smell. It's not even about
Exactly.
life. You know,
Exactly.
they're not trying to build anything.
There are
Stop
some
going
that
to the
does,
club
and
picking
there
up guys.
you're right, and I agree 100% on that. But to not categorize everyone, but I've always been one to say every dog deserve whatever respect that they put out in the universe. However, every
Agreed.
dog, if you take it and reverse it, is every man looking for God. Dog spelled backwards is God.
Is God. Amen.
So if
And
God leads you in the dynamic of your life, no matter where you are past, you can change in the midst of things in your present to become a better person. You are a
yes, you
prime
can.
example. And looking at
Yes.
that from past to present, but get out whatever it is that you have going on in your life. And if that's what you're looking for, that so he or she can make a sound decision to participate or exit the situation at that time. It's really that easy, and just having conversations around everything that you are looking for, how you're going about getting, and making sure, as you said before, it's about being equal yoked and being honest and loving. Treat yourself with the best care because nobody else is going to do it for you.
There is someone for everyone. I believe that. And
Right,
based upon your
right.
personality, you find someone with your personality. Don't keep kicking against the bricks just because the guy isn't here today. Doesn't mean he won't show up tomorrow. Continue to seek what you seek. Don't
Right.
settle for the guy that's going to mess your heart up or the girl that's going to drag you down the street.
Just for
Okay? We got to
company.
stop. Yeah, we got to stop cheapening our relationships.
Right. Value yourself more. If you love yourself like
Yes.
that, you wouldn't accept it to begin with. And there's so much you can do to build yourself in preparation as you wait. Do the things that you've always desired doing. Do that. Go to places that you wanted to go, however, you're afraid to go by yourself. There's nothing greater
Yes.
than going by yourself because you never know who you're going to meet on your journey.
Exactly.
Step out
Don't
of
be
comfort
afraid to be
zones.
you.
Yeah, step out of
Be
comfort
the
zones and do it
person
alone
God
if
has
you have to.
created you to be. If you're a
Right.
comical woman and you like to laugh, don't let the men around you put a muzzle on you. Laugh. There's going to be a man in the room who enjoys your laugh. He's going to look at you and he's going to be exploding. So be you. You
Every
got to be
time.
you. I've
Always.
learned that by being me, well, I had to find me again. Do you know I lost myself at one time? I
Absolutely.
lost myself trying to live for other people. I wanted to be the best man my wife wanted me to be, the best father my son wanted me to be, the best guy my pastor wanted. Everybody wanted me to be somebody. But I'm going to say it like Otis Redding said it back in the day. I can't be what 10 people want me to be. So I guess I remain the same. I'll be me.
Be you and be fabulous while
Stop.
doing it.
Right. Nobody can be you better.
Right.
And nobody can tell you how to be you. Nobody
Master it.
knows your heart's pain.
Master
Nobody
it.
knows what's going on in you but you. So
Right.
master that thing and
Hmm.
then wear it and wear it
Wear
proud.
it proud with a badge because it's a lot of lessons that are coming from past experiences, and they're just
Yes.
reactions to actions that have taken place in past. Is what most are viewing in these relationships. However, when
And
you
don't be
discover
bitter.
yourself, love, forgive it, move on, do something different this time if you're expecting a different outcome.
Yes,
Change
yes.
your narrative. It's up to you how you get what you receive. What you put out, you're going to get more of it. What you accept, you're going
Forgive
to get more
yourself.
of it. Yes.
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 So again, Valerie, and I know we're getting close to our closing time,
It's straight eight.
but, but okay. So we're at our time. But I'm I'm an advocate for women and men
Yeah.
both who have been hurt.
Yeah.
I want I want people to understand that just because you had pain in your life and you had someone that disrupted your life or that you allowed to disrupt your life,
Right.
again, honesty is very important.
Right.
No one can do more damage to you than what you allow them to do. Accept that responsibility as well.
Right.
Accept the fact that you allowed certain things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they were at fault for certain things. Come to a conclusion that, okay, we were both wrong here. Let's do what we got to do and go about.
Yeah.
Go our separate ways.
Take
But in the next
responsibility.
time you have an opportunity to be honest and look for that same honesty back. And if you're not getting it, men tell on themselves. I say it all the time. When you're dating, if you hear this man go, "Well, man, my last girlfriend slashed my tires. I had to choke that." You what?
Ooh, take care. Take care.
He just told you he will put his hands on you.
Yeah.
He
Take
didn't say
care.
what the situation needed to be. You hear a man say, "Man, I just can't deal with one woman. I need multiple women in my life."
Okay, take care.
You okay? Men and women tell on themselves. Listen for the things they say.
Yes. And not
Be
what you
very careful.
want them to say. Yeah, you're picking and
My
choosing
dad said
selective hearing.
when someone shows you who they are, listen to them.
Yeah.
Listen to them. They're telling you they're not for you, and you're going to make them fit because you saw something in them you liked.
No squares and circles. Mm-mm. It doesn't
Why settle
work.
for
It's never going
60%
to.
of a relationship when I can have 100%? If there's a
Yes.
woman willing to give me 100, why should I settle for this woman who's only wanting to give me 50? And why
Well,
should you settle for only 50 when you know during the long haul you need 100? Stop settling. You need a
that's
woman who's going
key.
to push you? Go find a woman who's going to push you.
Yeah.
Don't settle for a woman who's going to lay up under you and say, yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
daddy,
all the
yes, yeah.
time. Lies.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
lies.
Mm-mm.
Stop cheating yourself.
Out of
You don't want
happiness,
to
you
be this
know.
type of person, then don't be that type of person.
I
You don't want to
agree.
live in misery? Stop choosing misery. Why would you go pick a guy who's miserable all the time and angry all the time, and every time you drive with him, you hear him complaining? I don't like complaining.
No,
I
it's
don't.
it's boring, it's nerve-wracking. And again,
Yes.
change the narrative. What you have had in the past, you know you don't want that anymore. Change the narrative. Change of how you view yourself, how you're presenting yourself. Pull apart why you're attracting these individuals to begin with. Change the narrative. Go somewhere you haven't been and put it out there. Let your friends and your family know that you are now available. Your green light is on. And then they can pull out their repertoire of fabulous people that they may know that they'd like
Yes.
to actually introduce to you or someone that you know, and you do the same. It's so important to take it back to old school in so many spaces of life. So
Yes.
that's a point that I'd
If
like
you
to bring
want to
up because
avoid
it's
the
not easy,
heartache,
right? But love yourself
the
enough to not
heartache
settle
is
in
there. Yes.
spaces,
That part. Love
right?
yourself enough.
Right.
I hated myself and didn't even realize I hated myself. But every time I entered into a relationship or a situation that was not good for me or that was going to be toxic,
It showed up, didn't
I
it?
was hurt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get to a point to where, hey, you're a better guy than that. You were made better than that. You're
Right.
stronger than that.
Right.
Man, you bench press 250 pounds. Come on, you're a strong guy. You can do this. Depression is another thing that can beat you to death.
Yeah.
You're going to sit back and be depressed? You're not
Yeah.
going to leave the house? You're not going to eat?
Lies.
Well, you're not going to attract anyone else either. Not doing that. You got to be more positive, more upbeat about this
Well,
thing. Life is
self-esteem has a
good.
lot to do with that. What is causing that depression? What is causing you to have that low self-esteem? And it's because of the choices you've made in the past that you're not willing to make the corrections to move forward. So until you change again the narrative of what you're accepting, what you're projecting and putting out in the universe, then that's what you're going to get more of. If you want something different, then you make the changes to receive that. Period.
Behind everything physical, there's something spiritual.
Right.
Behind every human being that we meet, there's a spirit
Yeah.
of, of, of something. It could be a negative, it could be a positive,
Right.
but just know there is one.
Right.
So stop looking at the outside package and identify what's going on the inside
Right.
so that you can determine whether or not it's something that is compatible for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if all you're going to deal with is the outside, then you're never going to get real about what's on the inside, and eventually what's
Very
on the
hollow.
inside will come out.
It comes out with a vengeance, and it's very shallow, and it's hollow in there because you don't care. You've lost care somewhere along the way, and you're just
And you
willing to
can make
take whatever's
excuses for these
given.
people. Yeah,
Right.
you can make excuses for them, which
Unfortunately,
only deepens your pain.
it does.
How long can you stay in an abusive situation that's going to eat at your soul daily? How long can you stay in that?
Goes
Or
back.
an abusive relationship where someone's physically hitting on you? When when do they hit you hard enough to hurt you enough to want to leave?
You even look like you're gonna hit me. Again, my
Yes,
daddy.
I'm.
I mean, your parents tell you things. If you have that, I know my daddy said it. If a man looks like he's going to hit you leaving, don't look back. I'm one to
If you want to
project
be,
action. It's all about action. And like you're saying, it can be displayed verbally in conversation when a man says certain things or a woman says certain things. It also appear in their appearances, how they act, that vein popping out the neck, and they're just doing everything to try
yes,
to contain it.
yes, yes. I have that problem. I had that problem once.
Yeah, and trying to mask it because you don't want the real person to appear in that moment. So it's physical, it's emotional, and psychological. You can feel, you have intuitive means to know when something's not quite right. Pay attention to those things to protect yourself.
If I don't say this, Valerie, I won't be. It won't be fair to any of the people. There are men that are created by God to do just what a woman needs in her life, and vice versa.
Hmm.
But depending on what you're choosing to, how you're choosing to live in life, dictates what arena you may be dating in.
Hmm.
So if you're a spiritual person and you're inclined to do or live divinely,
Right.
you cannot go find a secular woman and bring her into your life and think that everything is going to run smoothly. If you're a spiritual woman and you're trying to obtain height in the Lord, you cannot go get a man off the street corner and think you can take him home and clean him up and it's going to be good.
Mm-mm. It can't lead
The
you.
Bible,
No.
the Bible clearly states that we should not be unevenly yoked. And in that, it's the same across the world today. If I'm an alcoholic and I'm going to go over here and come on, you cannot be unevenly yoked no matter what dimensional atmosphere you're living
Right.
in.
Right.
Okay? It's you've got to find somebody who's compatible with you at least most of the time. You're not always going to be on key, on sync.
Yeah.
You're different people.
But like
But
them. Like
yes, you
them.
got to be able to like them,
Like
even if
them
you don't
before
always
you
agree
love
with them.
them because it's going to be challenges
That
in the
part,
love
like them before
department.
you
But
love them.
like, yes, like first, tolerate them. Those behaviors, can you live with that?
There's a couple that I know, and they have been married 28 years.
Uh huh.
I was on Facebook today and just happened to see a glimpse of their post, and I'm like, "Oh, I was there when they got married. Matter of fact, I got married the same year." And for just a slight second, I was a little upset with myself that my marriage didn't last that long. But then I recognized theirs did. And I commended them and I sent them this congrats and I was happy for
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
And now I'm
That's
looking to do the
important.
same for myself again to move on. I
Right.
encourage people to look for the longevity in this thing.
Right.
Stop going with the moment for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Find someone who can go the long haul.
The whole going with
Someone
the
who
flow.
appreciates
Mm-mm.
you. Yeah, they like your funny looking nose or your ears or whatever it is. While everyone else is, judging your nose, that person's in love with your nose. Maybe you better let them be the one you smell. Stay
Right.
close to them. When someone
That's to be
likes you for
celebrated.
you,
That's celebratory. Yeah.
that's someone you can be with.
Yeah.
But if they got to make adjustments to go out with you tonight,
See ya.
that's not, come on.
Dressing you,
Uh,
making all those types of suggestions. Wear your hair
there
like
are a
that.
lot of
Wear that color
beautiful women
lipstick.
out there,
Mm-mm.
and these women are broken and hurt. And you take them into your home, and now you find out you're going to be a John Bobbitt guy, or your house is burned down because she was so hurt, and you went out and made one thing that looked like it was wrong. It wasn't even wrong, but she assumed it was wrong, and now you're in. Come on, stop chasing after people that don't fit with you.
Right.
Broken people, well, all of us have been broken to some extent, but some are still broken and want to
And
break somebody else.
yeah, it's a revenge mentality and looking at the individual itself. Everything comes out. Just pay attention, listen, ask the questions that are necessary, and more than anything else, pay attention to the behaviors that are on display versus being
Yes.
spoken. Actions speak volumes, and the representative shows up eventually. However, do everything necessary to avoid having the whole shock syndrome. Time is valuable. You are valuable. Love is not to be played with. If your heart is sincere, you want to align with somebody who's also sincere and want the same or similar things moving forward in the same direction. The moment you
Yes.
realize there is a hiccup and you now know that it's going to be a detour or that variance in the road, then that's time to have a conversation to assure that these things, like, I'm feeling like this, please confirm or deny it. Because once it's been confirmed that that's what's taking place, it's time to go. It's time to go. You don't want to look up and it's been 3 years, 5 years, 10 years with
Yes.
somebody
Yes.
and then they leave you. What? So that's a no, and that's when crazy shows up. So you want to keep that girl and that guy put away. Put them
Yes.
away by paying attention, asking what's necessary to ask, paying attention to the behaviors, and having those conversations more often. Please have them often. Checkpoints. I believe in checkpoints in relationships because we evolve every day. We don't always grow the
Yes.
same. And when we realize we're not going in the same directions, then it's time to get off the train and take a flight.
Yeah. Or make
That's
some
simple.
adjustments.
Make some adjustments if
uh,
necessary, but if you're going in different ways, you need to get off that
yes,
now.
agreed.
Now.
Well,
It's not
again,
changing.
it won't even be necessary to get off if we take time, be cautious about what you're doing. I stopped
Right?
looking, and when I stopped looking,
That's
it
the
fell
key.
into my lap.
Yeah.
When I just focused on what I wanted to do daily, focused on my ministry and my work and
Right.
the service in the Lord,
Right.
she just appeared, and I saw her for who she was, and didn't even. It wasn't a stretch.
But she was
It
there all
was
the
all.
time. Like you said, she was there all the time. So when you do take the time to love on yourself, focus on things that are necessary to soar you in your life, make yourself better, that's when they show up. You don't have to go
Valerie,
out
I
here
got it.
pounding the
I have to say
streets.
this one other thing. If you've been in a relationship where you were the one that caused the pain and you caused the heartache, this is my sincere advice. Repent, apologize, do whatever you can to make amends
Right.
so that you can be free
Right.
to go on. Because
Absolutely.
I'll be honest, like I said, in my marriage, I was the culprit. I was the one who did the wrong. So the pain that I dished out, it was going to take her some time to get over. By the same token, it took me a lot to get over once I recognized and took the fault for being the culprit,
Right.
because I did. And if you want to be happy in your next relationship, you have to admit the mistakes you made in your last.
Right.
You got to be honest about. I was an idiot about that. I made bad choices.
Right.
A
Acknowledging it
very
for
good
yourself.
person. was hurt because I was childish in my decisions or selfish about what I wanted. And men can be quite selfish. They want not one woman, but three and four. And some of them feel like they're justified because in the Bible, some had more than one wife.
That was then.
That's not, that was then. And it wasn't right
Right.
then. It was just
Right.
accepted, but it wasn't right. If we're
First
going
of
to have
all, I
true
want to say this,
relationships,
John. Listen. Who has time for 7 women? It's only 24 hours in a day. And I know for a fact that, I've dealt with somebody in the past who's juggles like that. And I look like, how in the name of God do you have time to juggle what you've said, who you've said it to, this one's name, that one's name, and it's key words. And they
it
call
is
you
not
babe, blah, blah.
possible.
It's not. Somebody's going
It's
to be
not
short
possible.
and
I was one who did it. I tried to live two lives, literally living in two different places at the same time. Two different lives.
who are you really?
It does not work. You get torn apart. You become. Valerie, I lost myself. That so called arrogance or ego left me crying in tears.
You should
And
have
I'm a grown
cried.
man.
You should have.
There's no, there's
You
nothing
deserve to cry.
soft about me, but I had to cry when I realized the pain that had been dished out at my hands.
Well, at
When
least
I
you took ownership
recognized,
for it. Taking ownership is the first to making the
and it still doesn't
corrections.
make it right. I still have
No, it's too
times
late.
where where I want to say I'm sorry again, just because it was wrong.
Right.
And today I'm able to admit that, so I'm able to go forward. And in my relationship today, I refuse to lie and hold things back.
Right.
I'm constantly trying to put it out there first. I'm gonna tell on myself. Nobody else is gonna tell on me no more. Okay?
Put it
I'm
out.
telling on myself. I'm putting it out there. Sweetie, I had this going on in my head today and I don't know why. Help me figure it out, please, so we can keep going. Whatever's wrong in my life, whether it be at work, at church, I'm coming home, I'm telling.
Good.
I'm telling.
Please do. But we've got to draw that line in the sand. We can sit here and talk all night long. It's
Yes.
been that kind of juicy. And I knew it would be difficult to try to get everything in, but it's just one of those conversations that warrant continual conversation because we're having different types of experiences every day. It's not a lot of fun to have to keep repeating cycles. It's no fun to have to continue dating and meeting individuals that aren't in alignment with ourselves. But once you know who you are, there is no sacrificing in that. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't
That.
sacrifice yourself because the more you bend for somebody else, the less you are becoming and you're giving yourself away. You're depleting
And it's
you
really
in the
self-destructive.
process. It is. You will
Yes.
crash.
It's
And then one day
self-destructive.
you're going to have a snap moment. And I really don't want you to get to that space of snap because you can't blame somebody else for the choice that you made. You really
And
can't.
that snapping point can cost you everything. When it
Yeah.
happened for me, I found myself laid up in the hospital in a coma.
Mm.
That's just how tragic my life had become. So I thank God again for giving me mercy and
Yeah.
giving me the opportunity to have another, chance at love.
Right.
And I encourage singles around the world, both sets of singles. Let me say it this way: those in God and those who are still searching.
Right.
Find someone on your level. If you're in God, please, if you're trying to live a spiritual life, don't go into the secular world trying to find your mate. They're not going to understand you. If you
Right.
are in this secular world, I would encourage you to seek out someone in the spiritual world to help you to make that adjustment, because there are two worlds we live in. Whether you agree with it or believe in it or not, there's a spiritual and physical.
Right.
And as long as you're denying one or the other, your life will be in a state of confusion no matter who you're with.
That's true. I agree
So,
wholeheartedly.
and that is what I have for you today.
Okay, fabulous. That's what is That's what I said earlier. It's going to be a juicy conversation. Now, we haven't responded to not one comment, and I knew it was going to be like that. So after the broadcast, as always, I asked the guests to go back and respond to comments because I will be doing that also. Also, if you could share where you can be contacted, and if you could put that contact information in comments as well so it can be located. Because John does different types of counseling and situations that help when it comes to relationships. And that's actually how we met because of my 5 keys to mastering relationships, the program that I have
Yes.
and put out. He saw my video for that and reached out. So that's how we met and had the juiciest conversation. We probably talked 2, 3 hours, maybe 4.
Yes, that first day. Yes.
We talked and talked and talked because it's so many things, because we were comparing notes with things that I have, what I'm noticing with clients and what I'm seeing being, um, I would say single, but I'm divorced because when you're single one time, I'll put that out on the streets. A lot of people get married and then they're divorced. And then once they're divorced, they say they're single again. Lies. You're only single one time. Once you're married, you're married. You're either divorced or a widow. Simple. It's
Yes.
That's what it's like. So, being a divorcee, I look at things differently because I've had the single experience, I have had the married experience, and now I'm dating after divorce. So it's differences like that. And when you have situations like that, then you have to look at it from all spectrums when you're dating. And it's work. However, I love the space that I'm in because I can make the choices that I want to make for my life. Very important.
Yes.
So look at it for what it is and assess yourself. Know exactly what it is that you want and go for it. Don't be shy about it. Don't let somebody else talk you out of it. However, being 50 and conducting yourself like a 25-year-old, that's really something to have to look at. And it's things and it's individuals that I talk to often that are doing these things because they're selling themselves short just to fit in
Yes.
with today's society. And that is a downward spiral that's just waiting to happen. So you don't want to project yourself there. But we have to have the conversations around assessing and understanding you where you are today, where you were not 5 years ago, even last year when it comes to dating. Accept where you are. Change the narrative of what you are seeking in your life. Take yourself out of comfort zone and show yourself the ultimate self-care and self-love that you possibly can. And while you're busy focusing and building yourself, you'll meet somebody. You'll meet
Yes.
them when you least to expect meeting them.
My
You want to
favorite
add
statement
something
is
to that?
follow the will of God. Yeah, just follow the will of God for your life each day. If you get up seeking to do what you're supposed to do for your sustainability,
Yes.
then yes, God will do the rest. It's up to you to just get up and be the best you can be each day.
Period. That's juicy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's juicy. And on that note, because we're going to close out this show, John, we're going to
Yes.
close it out. And many thanks to everyone who has dropped into the room, participated with our conversation tonight, because it's different layers of relationships and it's about assessing yours and understanding that you're getting to the place you are directed to go in your life to receive what you're needing in your life with the person that is aligned for you. So
Yes.
make sure you do the necessary work within yourself, and then when you're projected into the universe for somebody else. On that note, I'm going to say love without conditions, always possess a positive attitude, and soar in all you do. I love you, mean it, and have a fabulous evening. Ciao, ciao. John,
Ciao. Yes,
ciao.
ma'am.
We'll talk again soon,
Ciao.
okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
You're quite welcome. Good night.
Bless. Blessings, everyone.
Ciao.